Good evening. Welcome to the Douglas County Board of Commissioners of Wednesday, November 17th, 2021 legislative meeting. It is now 6 p.m. We will call this meeting to order. I'll start with roll call. District 1 Commissioner Henry Mitchell III. Present. District 2 Commissioner and Vice Chairman Kelly Robinson.
Present. District
3 Commissioner Tarenia Carthen.
Present.
District 4 Commissioner Ann Jones-Guider.
Present.
Ramona Jackson-Jones, Chairman, present. Board of Commissioners, we do have a quorum. Board of Commissioners, tonight we have the honor and the privilege of having Senior Pastor Reverend Orlando Evans from Bright Star United Methodist Church here with us to grace us and pray over Douglas County. And after the invocation, Board of Commissioners, I ask you and also our audience to please remain standing for the pledge to the flag, of the flag.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Tonight, let's draw inspiration from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 through 18, which tells us, "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. In today's scripture, the Apostle Paul encourages a faith community in Thessalonica during a season of social distancing. No, they were not facing a global pandemic, but they had experienced an outbreak in faith. But it was countercultural for anyone to be a follower of Jesus Christ. As a result, Paul was persecuted, driven away, and separated from the community that he loved. However, through the technology of letter writing, he encouraged them from afar and told them to rejoice always, pray continually, and always give thanks. As we prepare to pray tonight, I invite you to embrace this guidance as a formula that we can follow. Let us pray. Gracious God, as our nation prepares to pause for a day of thanksgiving, we recognize your desire for us to maintain this posture throughout the year. That means we must rejoice always, even when our environment is uncomfortable, even when our circumstance seems impossible, even when we haven't experienced the manifestation of your favor, we must still rejoice. We must also pray continually, from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, in times of laughter and in moments of tears. Let us be consistent in our dialogue with you as we invite your wisdom to guide our day. Let us always give thanks for your loving kindness, your tender mercy, your unmerited favor, and your endless grace. Lastly, we also give thanks for equipping our county leaders with wisdom to serve those you have assigned to them. Please continue to guide them in all truth. We give thanks in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Pastor Orlando. Thank you for gracing our county and praying over our county. And as always, you do a great job, Pastor Orlando Evans. And we appreciate what you and Bright Star United Methodist Church are doing here in our community. So thank you again. Board of Commissioners, I will proceed with the meeting. Clerk, do we have anyone sign up who signed up for public comment?
No, ma'am, we did not.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll just jump right into our meeting, Board of Commissioners. Board of Commissioners, you have 5 minutes for your remarks tonight. Please, we're trying to manage our meetings accordingly. We have 3 minutes for rebuttal. If you have a rebuttal, there will be no personal attacks. Listen to the other side. Focus on the issues, not personalities. Be polite. Our clerks will manage our time. And so when you hear the buzzer, certainly I ask that you wrap your comments and your thoughts up so we can proceed on to the next item. Board of Commissioners, tonight we have the approval of the minutes. You have the commission meeting minutes of November 4th, 2021, the work session minute session minutes of November 1st, 2021, the executive session minutes of November 1st, 2021, and the budget retreat minutes of November 5th, 2021. Do we have any additions, deletions, or corrections that need to be made?
No, ma'am.
Being none, the minutes stand approved. Board of Commissioners, we're going to move right into our proclamations tonight. We have one proclamation, tab number 5, proclaiming November 17th through the 24th, 2021 as Farm City Week in Douglas County. And Mr. Joey Rainwater will be here to read the proclamation for us. Thank you so much, Mr. Rainwater.
Thank y'all for allowing us to be able to read this proclamation tonight. It states Farm City Week. Whereas American farmers and ranchers literally help feed the world by producing a bounty of agricultural products, and whereas to do this, they rely on essential partnerships with urban and suburban communities to supply, sell, and deliver finished products across the country and the world. And whereas rural and urban communities working together have made the most of our nation's rich agricultural resources as they contribute to the health and well-being of our state, our country, and to the strength of our economy. And whereas during National Farm City Week, we recognize the importance of this cooperative network. Agriculture employs more than 19 million workers, including farmers and ranchers, shippers, processors, marketers, retailers, truck drivers, inspectors, and others who annually contribute more than $1 trillion to our gross domestic product. And whereas in Georgia, agriculture contributes more than $70 billion annually to the state's economy. 1 in 7 Georgians work in agriculture, forestry, or agriculture-related field. The agricultural industry provides us with food, clothing, and shelter, as well as fuel for our energy needs. Whereas as we welcome new opportunities for trade, the hard work and successful cooperation between farmers and city workers will continue to play a vital role in our state and nation's future. Farm City collaborations help maintain and improve our food and fiber supply and contribute to a better quality of life for countless citizens. We commend the many Americans whose hard work and ingenuity reflect the true spirit of America and help to ensure a prosperous future for all. And whereas this week, as we gather with family and friends around the Thanksgiving table, it is fitting that we count among our blessings the vital farm-city partnerships that have done so much to improve the quality of our lives. Therefore, the Douglas County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim November 17th through the 24th, 2021 as Farm City Week in Douglas County. We call upon citizens in rural and urban areas to acknowledge and celebrate the achievements of all those who, working together, produce and supply our community and nation with an abundance of agricultural products. So proclaim this 17th day of November 2021.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rainwater. Thank you again for being here to represent the farmers and the ranchers. Certainly, in the Bible, it says, if a man or woman does not work, they shall not eat.
Yes.
And also, it says, I'm adding to the Bible somewhat, without our farmers and ranchers, man or woman shall not eat. And you help feed the world. I heard that loud and clear in this Board of Commissioners as well. So you, and among all the other farmers and ranchers, play a significant role in our lives, and you're vital to our nutrition and our livelihoods. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Board of Commissioners, if you could just remain standing. Board of Commissioners, you have heard the proclamation. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board?
Yes, this one.
Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Yes, quick question for you. Would you happen to know how many farms do we have here in Douglas? Just
Well, that varies. I don't know the exact number, The last census that was done was 2017, I believe. And so I'm not...
No, it's okay. I'm just just want to sort of acknowledge, and I know that in Washington, out of the president's office, there is an initiative to focus on revitalizing the farmers and stuff and things that are going on. So I always try to tie our local actions, not just in a resolution or proclamation, but for real action. So
Yes.
it's something that I'm sure as we give these proclamations, it's that let's move things forward. So if there's something that comes out of this, that there's a need, I mean, because again, we get convenient as those who have never been on a farm.
If I could share just a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
What the Douglas County Farm Bureau has been trying to do was to redefine what people think, especially our children think, when they think about farmer. Because most of the time, we visualize someone on a tractor with a straw hat and a pitchfork, or, throwing hay and things like that. Farmer can entail, a different variety than just large plots of land. And so that's what one thing we've been trying to do in the school system. And then if I could just mention, we had the opportunity to speak to Representative Thompson, I believe it is, in the 65th District. And she's putting out a lot of initiatives and trying to put together a plan to incentivize, these children in the agricultural sector. So there are things going on, and love for our commissioners and Douglas County to certainly see how we could partner together and get on some of these initiatives and help in our county as well.
No, I appreciate those comments, and I appreciate, again, the future of the children. And then the county is today's generation. And so it becomes, what can we do for you, though, which is beyond education. So I just want to make that comment. Thank you for sharing that. And I duly noted, Madam Chair, I wasn't trying to prolong this. I've reached my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Commissioners, any other remarks? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. Board of Commissioners, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries. So thank you and congratulations, and we appreciate
Thank you.
you feeding us here in Douglas County, and appreciate what you and the farmers or ranchers are doing. Thank you. All right, Board of Commissioners, before I move to our next tab, which is under public hearing, I would, point of privilege, like to ask our new attorney, county attorney, if he would come up and sit right here. I have a seat reserved for you. You can come up if you don't mind. And certainly we have our existing county attorney, Ken Bernard, here now, and then we have Mr. Michael Coleman, and then, of course, Attorney Bernard will transition to special counsel soon, but you're in dress rehearsal, Attorney Coleman, so we want to put you, I want at least you to be up here with us, if that's okay with the board. Okay, all right. Thank you. We want to, if you would come up, Mr. Rainwater, we want to take a photograph with you. Yes, and you could bring your wife. She could come with us. We want to take a photograph. It slipped my mind. Forgive me. You want to come up here? Yeah, it's only two. Thank you again, Mr. Joy Rainwater, for coming in, again proclaiming Farm City Week in Douglas County. So we really appreciate you being here. Board of Commissioners, we're going to move on to tab number 6. We have a public hearing regarding a resolution to be considered by the Board of Commissioners proposing the adoption of the Douglas County redevelopment plan and creation of the tax allocation District 1, and that's the Lee Road extension. We have with us tonight our Executive Director of Economic Development, Chris Pumphrey. You have the floor.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners.
Good
It's a
evening.
pleasure to be here in front of you all this evening once again for our second and final public hearing for the Tax Allocation District. I also would like to recognize our Board Chair, Mr. Mike Stevens, who's attending tonight as well, so I want to thank him for being here. I think Joe's here on another matter, but
He's here for a second.
so, but yes, we're glad to be here to present the feasibility, the overview of the feasibility study. We have posted this on our website, so it's been on there for about a good month now. That just outlines the study, the maps and everything, and has a FAQ for the public. We have not received any comments from the public since that period of time that we've had it loaded up there. So I just wanted to make sure that you all knew that. So Gary Mongen, who is the consultant that we brought on from KB Advisory Group, is here to walk through the presentation for the feasibility study. And Gary, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Munchin, for coming out. Thank you.
Well, it's good to be here again. Good evening, Commissioners. I will try to be brief since you have heard this before at least twice. But for members of the public, just kind of try to be very brief in terms of outlining what this tax allocation district's all about. As you know, a few years ago now, you started planning for the Lee Road corridor and a proposal to extend Lee Road and develop the intersection of Lee and Fairburn Roads, which is just really the germination of the impetus for this particular redevelopment project. The tax allocation district is basically a financing tool that will enable the county to generate additional resources to invest in the redevelopment of this location, and that's basically all it does. But to create a tax allocation district, it has to be consistent with county strategy, consistent with the comprehensive plan, has to comply with the statutory requirements for redevelopment area, and also has to comply in terms of the tax allocation district itself. So the impetus for this plan came out of both the Lee Road Corridor study and the Strategic Economic Development Plan, which basically calls for redevelopment of this, for development in this corridor, which this tax allocation district will help to facilitate. The first step in the process was defining a redevelopment area in the unincorporated county, which included the main properties that would be part of the primary project that would be supported by the TAD. We selected an area of about 1,900 acres that qualified under the statute. Some of the statistics about this area are shown on this slide. The redevelopment area itself is an area that both has needs as defined in the statute and would be positively impacted by projects within the tax allocation district. They are not, however, the same area. Again, it's the location of the redevelopment area in the county. This is the tax allocation district itself, which is approximately 700 acres. It's a percentage of the total real estate within the redevelopment area. Other properties in the redevelopment area will not be directly impacted in any way by any activities within the TAD. This particular TAD is a little over 700 acres and includes 136 tax parcels. And the combined county and school property taxes generated off this area today is approximately just under $600,000. That's combined county and school district revenues, and revenues are about $820 per acre in annual property tax revenues to those two jurisdictions. This is a strategic area of the county. It's an area you've identified in your comprehensive plan for growth, and I think by any objective measure, $800 an acre in terms of public revenues off this location constitutes underperformance in terms of revenues and what your long-term objectives are for this area. The redevelopment powers law requires identification of potential projects, which we did as part of this plan. We've identified projects that could represent an investment in almost 1.9 million square feet of new development. There are also, outside of the primary project, which would be located on approximately 160 acres near the extension of Lee Road. There are some other potential projects in the area that we've also identified that could be redeveloped in the future and create increment. We're projecting a total increment, again, this is a requirement of the statute, of potentially $78 million over a full 30-year period if the TAD is in effect that long and the development that we forecast actually occurs and its taxable value is achieved. And that's where the revenues to invest in this part of your county would come from, is from those projects and that 1.9 million square feet of development. We are forecasting that over time, as much as $30 million in bonds could potentially be financed from this growth. And this chart outlines potential uses of those proceeds, which would be primarily invested in infrastructure, public amenities, and the kinds of resources that the public has identified that it wants in this part of the county. And then the plan, again, designates the county commission as the redevelopment agency unless and until you choose to delegate parts of those responsibilities. It has a long discussion about consistency with the county's zoning and future land use map. Again, the tax allocation district is consistent. What's in this plan is not a legal document in terms of any zoning decisions that might be made in the future. Again, it's just a funding mechanism to help you achieve the qualitative goals that you've set for this part of the county. It establishes a 30-year life of the district, and it gives the county maximum flexibility to consider whatever financing approaches are deemed appropriate in the future. There's also an impact analysis on the Douglas County school system, and finally, all the 136 parcels in the district are listed in the appendix of the report. If any members of the public want to find out if their property is in the district. I believe that is it. The next step, again, would be for you to consider a resolution up for adoption tonight, and I believe that's on the agenda. So, be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you so much.
We've been through this a few times. So.
Thank you so much, Mr. Munchin. Any questions for Mr. Munchin or Development Executive Director Chris Pumphrey? Any questions?
And Madam Chair, you're going to conduct the second or third public hearing too that you need to open up to before you conclude.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Thank you for your response. All right, Board of Commissioners, I will move to open this public hearing. This public hearing is now open. The public hearing is regarding a resolution to be considered by the Board of Commissioners proposing the adoption of the Douglas County Redevelopment Plan and creation of the Tax Allocation District on number 1 Lee Road Extension. Do we have anyone here to speak on behalf of this public hearing? Being none, is anyone here to speak against? Being none, this public hearing is now closed. All right, thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, I will bring before you, certainly if you have questions or you want to make some remarks before I call the question. Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, we have been through this process, but it's a process that is expressive and indicative of Douglas County. Our master planning process was very inclusive, right? It became the model of how to engage citizens. You know, our our county has different character areas based on districts, right? Mine tends to be a little bit more suburban, urban, you know, District 1 tends to be more city, country. You get the residential of the southern border, which is District 3, and you've got our rural out west. Very, very different areas. We're talking about redevelopment, not raw trees. But the citizens were behind this. They said this is an area that we need to make some improvements on, enhance. I asked my fellow commissioners to support this adoption because citizens weighed in, and obviously they weighed in by passing it further as a referendum last year. Right? So this is the very first step for us to now have a signature, have something that we're proud of. You know, the way we shape, we're just not throwing up bricks. You know, we've got intentional, we're strategic. And I really appreciate the effort that the Development Authority has done on this. I know it's a process, it's new for us, using a TAD as a tool. But nonetheless, this is important for our future. Obviously, we know the Lee Road, the East-West Connector, as we call it. Our East-West mobility is right along that corridor as well, this whole area. And so as Douglas County continues to grow, as we begin to, I know the city has their own version of this, but the county has its own position. And I appreciate that in all the areas, in all the commission districts that have targeted areas, that there's an embracement of newness and or re-enhancement. So with that being said, Madam Chair, I just want to ask the board to support this fully. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vice Chairman Robinson. Any other remarks, board, before I call the question? Thank you, board. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to move forward with the adoption of the Douglas County Redevelopment Plan and creation of Tax Allocation District Number 1, Lee Road Extension?
Madam Chair, it's actually the next item that you'll read in the agenda and vote on.
Okay, so nothing on this.
Nothing on this.
Okay.
This was just the last of their public hearings, and now you'll move to the resolution.
Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners, I'm going to move to the resolution. The resolution is tab number 7. Resolution creating a redevelopment area and tax allocation District 1, designating the boundaries of such area and district, adopting a redevelopment plan, establishing the tax allocation increment base, and for other related purposes. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote and the motion carries. So thank you so much and congratulations. All right. Again, thank you, Attorney Bernard, for assisting me in my moment of entanglement. Board of Commissioners, we're going to move to tab number 8, resolution authorizing the county to reimburse itself for cost associated with tax allocation District 1 incurred prior to the issuance of debt associated with the project. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. Okay. Thank you. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries, board. Thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, we're going to move on to, before I move it any further, I want to make a slight correction. We need to table an item tonight that's under the consent agenda, and certainly it's tab number 14. And certainly would like to call to table this and would appreciate the board's participation. Vice Chairman Robinson, you could lead with the tabling.
Yes. Madam Chair, I make a motion that we pull from the consent agenda item number 14 and table it to our next board meeting on the 29th and 30th.
Okay. So moved. Do we have a second? Mhm.
I motion, we need a
Yeah,
second.
I second it. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. Please indicate whether you want to table it by raising your right hand, if you agree. We have a 4-1 vote and the motion carries. Did you raise your hand? Yeah. Yeah, 4-1 vote and the motion carries. Okay. We'll table.
For those who are for it, then of course who are against it.
Yes,
then
okay.
support.
I'm sorry. We have 4 in favor and all opposed, please. We have 1, so it's 4-1. Okay? 4 in favor and 1 opposed. Clerk, you got it? Thank you, Commissioner Mitchell. All right, we're going to move on to our new business item. We have tab number 9, authorization to enter into a memorandum of understanding, a MOU with the state of Georgia, execute the distributor participation agreement, execute the Jensen JJ participation agreement, and authorize the chairman to sign all necessary documents in order for Douglas County to participate in the opioid settlements described therein with the state, subject to final legal review. This results in potential resolutions with several of the opioid defendants, distributors, McKesson, Cardinal Health, and Amerisource, Virgin, and manufacturer Johnson & Johnson. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries. Okay, board, we're going to move right into our business items. Tab number 10, approval to amend the board commission and authority appointment policy that was tabled from November 4th, 2021. Do we have a motion to approve?
We'll untable.
Oh,
Madam Chair, I
I'm
make a
so
motion that
sorry.
we untable this
Yes,
line item.
thank you. Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Board of Commissioners, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of untabling this item, please raise your right hand. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote to untable, and the motion carries. All right. Now I'll try it again. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to, for approval to amend, to approve the amended board, commission, and authority appointment policies?
Madam Chair, before we make a motion, can we have the county clerk read it officially into the record?
Yes. County Clerk, would you please read this new legislative policy? And then just be prepared to read all of them as they come through our.
Okay, this is the Board Commission Authority Appointments. The following is an amendment to our existing policy. Number 5, funding. Any Douglas County Board, Commission, Committee, or Authority which is funded through appropriations by the Douglas County Board of Commissioners must provide an annual financial report accounting for its use of county funds and an annual report regarding the outcomes achieved through the county's funding. Failure to adhere to this policy could result in reduction, elimination, or non-approval of future rounds of funding.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk, for reading the amendment to this policy. Board of Commissioners, you have heard the amendment. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries, Board.
Madam Chair.
All right. Vice Chairman, point of order.
Yeah, I'd like to make just a quick statement. I want to thank the board for unanimously passing this particular one. This is important. This is not necessarily about the board of commissioners. This is about any agency, any committee, any board that we give money to, that there must be accountability. As we're held to the highest standard and we are scrutinized, that means everybody. There's no entitlement. You're not entitled to things without showing accountability. And so what the board thought it was important, because we were just giving money historically to organizations and there was just nothing coming back. And it was just the way it was. And this is one of those where we're beginning to do that now. That's what this legislation is about, to begin to get back into our and some of the things that we have on our charter and some of our books that's just been sitting there from 1954, 1998, like, okay, we can do better. So again, I just want to make that quick statement, Madam Chair, just to acknowledge the effort and the thoughtfulness and the consideration of this board. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Vice Chair. If there are no other remarks from the board, I'm going to move on to tab number 11. Board of Commissioners, we need to untable this item. Do we have a motion to untable the authorization to advertise for a public hearing to consider amending the Douglas County Code of Ordinance regarding amending Section 9-25, the purchase procedures, and add a new living wage ordinance to establish a countywide minimum wage for all employees at the rate of up to $16.50 per hour? Do we have a motion to untable?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board? We have a motion and a second. Please indicate whether you approve by raising your right hand, if you agree, to untable. So we have a 5-0 unanimous vote to untable, and the motion carries. I'll try it again. All right, Board of Commissioners, I'm going to call the motion. It's time to call the question. Any comments before I call the question? Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to authorize to advertise for a public hearing to consider amending the Douglas County Code of Ordinance regarding amending Section 9-25 purchase procedures and add to a new living wage ordinance to establish a countywide minimum wage for all employees at the rate of up to $16.50 per hour?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board?
Yes, just one comment.
Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Yes, this is two parts, so there's really two things in here. The procurement process, which is separate than the salary consideration, so I want to make sure people are clear on that. And all we're doing is giving approval, authorization to staff to do a public hearing. We want to really hear your comments on a living wage. We have a proposal on the table up to $16.50. We've looked at different scenarios of this, but we, as you know how we do legislation, we like to slow roll it, get real feedback. Just like in Congress, you got to have those hearings, let people come out. So we look forward to your comments. This will be discussed probably tomorrow during our budget retreat round 2.0, because it does have a fiscal impact. So it was important that we table this until we got beyond that process and got down to the details of the budget and how that's extended forward. So just setting expectations. We're not delayed on it. It's just a process. Madam Chair, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion, Board? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table. All, please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries, Board. We're going to move on to tab number 12, which is approval of a new procurement policy. Do we have a motion to untable this new procurement policy?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Board of Commissioners, we have a motion and a second. Please indicate whether you want to untable or approve by raising your right hand.
Yes.
We have a 4, I can't tell. Keep your hands.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, I'm trying to untable 12, tab number 12, approval of a new procurement policy. And I said, do we have a motion to untable?
To untable.
Yeah, to untable, so that's what we're trying to do. Okay. Everybody raise your hand if you. So we have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries to untable. All right, Board of Commissioners, I will certainly, if you could, clerk, read this policy for us, the addendum. It's the procurement policy. Okay.
Section 11.2 of the Douglas County Purchasing Manual is amended to add the following. When a competitive bidding process is deemed to be in the best interest of the county, the following procedures will apply. Purpose and scope. 1.1, to establish policy, define responsibilities, and set forth procedures for the solicitation, negotiation, evaluation, and award of contracts and assignments for professional services. 1.2, only the Board of Commissioners shall be authorized to formally award a bid or enter into a contract on behalf of the county. 1.3, this policy shall not apply to positions that are filled directly by the Board of Commissioners through employment, election, or appointment, e.g. boards, agencies, commissions, authorities, auditors, county attorney, or county engineer. 1.4, professional services associated with public works projects of an urgent or emergency nature may be exempted from the procedural requirements set forth in this policy. See e.g. Douglas County Code of Ordinances, Section 7.74B. 1.5, this policy shall not apply to the procurement of professional services from court reporters, expert witnesses, and attorneys assigned to defend the county or one of its elected officials or employees pursuant to a policy of insurance with regard to a pending or anticipated claim or lawsuit. 1.6, unless otherwise required by law, the procedures set forth in this policy do not apply to professional services assignments by department heads where the cost of work for the assigned project is not anticipated to exceed $5,000 and the expenditure is within the department budget approved by the Board of Commissioners. 1.7, medical or veterinary services are exempted from this policy when such professional services are needed on an urgent or emergency basis as opposed to a regular basis. Number 2, references. 2.1, see Douglas County Code of Ordinances, Section 9-25, purchase procedures. 2.2, see Douglas County Code of Ordinances, Section 9-28, bid procedures. 2.3, see Douglas County Code of Ordinances, Section 7.74B, authority to waive procedures and fee structures. Definitions. 3.1, professional services. Professional services are services which involve extended analysis, the exercise of discretion and independent judgment in their performance, and an advanced specialized type of knowledge, expertise, or training customarily acquired either by decree or certificate or equivalent experience in the field. 3.2, minor professional services assignment, up to $50,000. A professional services assignment that is not anticipated to exceed the amount of $50,000. Major professional services assignment over $50,000. A professional services assignment that is anticipated to exceed the amount of $50,000. 3.3, request for proposal or request for qualifications. A written request for proposal, RFP, or request for qualifications, RFQ, is used to solicit proposals for major professional services assignments. The RFP/RFQ shall include a description of the work scope and services to be performed, the specific criteria to be used in evaluating the proposals, and other pertinent information to assist consultants in ascertaining the needs of the county. RFP and RFQ shall state that the county will first negotiate with the first qualified consultants to determine the final contract award. If negotiations fail with the most qualified consultant, the county may negotiate with the second most qualified consultant or re-advertise the RFP or RFQ as deemed in the county's best interest. 3.4, qualified consultant. A consultant is qualified if that consultant has the technical capability, knowledge, facilities, and staff to perform the work required. For DOT projects, the consultant must first be GDOT pre-qualified. 3.5, department head. Department head shall mean the elected official, appointed official, department director, or ranking member of the administrative department of the Douglas County government that has requested professional services. When the selection of professional services involves contracting with a consultant to prepare an environmental impact report, department head shall mean the director of development services or a designee. When the selection of DOT professional services involves contracting with consultant to prepare our environmental impact report, department head shall mean the director of transportation or a designee. When the selection of professional services involves the engagement of an attorney, department head shall mean the county attorney or a designee. When the selection of professional services involves the hiring of a financial or accounting consultant, department head shall mean the director of finance. Number 4, policy. 4.1, major professional services assignments over $50,000. 4.1.1, general. Consultants for major professional services assignments shall be selected and retained utilizing the procedures specified in this section. A screening process may be employed to reduce all prospective consultants to a practical number for evaluation purposes. 4.1.2, waiver of proposals. The Board of Commissioners may waive this procedure if waiver is in the best interest of the county. However, this process will not be waived when utilizing federal or state funding. 4.1.3, evaluation team. The responsible department head shall appoint an evaluation team to assist in establishing a list of qualified consultants, evaluating proposals, and making award recommendations. The evaluation team may be drawn from the county staff, county officials, and/or other persons who have no financial conflict of interest. For some projects, it may be desirable to rely entirely upon the county staff as members of the evaluation team, while other projects may call for the inclusion of a member of the profession under consideration or public official from another agency who is knowledgeable in the particular field under consideration. In the case of department heads who are not elected or appointed officials, the county manager/administrator shall approve the composition of the evaluation team. 4.1.4, data file. Departments may elect to maintain a data file consisting of an established list of consultants pre-qualified for various types of recurring professional services. 4.1.5, pre-proposal meeting. For unique projects, the department head may hold a pre-proposal meeting and invite all interested consultants to attend. At this meeting, the general scope of the project shall be discussed. This meeting shall be devoted solely to the discussion of the project itself. 4.1.6, initial screening. If the department head determines that there is an insufficient number of qualified consultants in the data file, an initial screening process may be utilized. Letters of interest and advertisements may be used, including a general description of the project work scope and a request that the consultants respond by sending pertinent information about their firm's capabilities. The evaluation team shall screen all responding firms and compile a list of qualified consultants. 4.1.7, request for proposal or request for qualifications. The department head shall assist the purchasing agent in soliciting proposals for qualifications from at least 3 firms. When using federal or state funds, the qualifications-based selection method must be used. 4.1.8, evaluation and negotiation. The evaluation team shall review and evaluate all proposals and, if necessary, schedule oral interviews. The evaluation team shall select a priority list of consultants based on the criteria utilized. The department head shall contact the first choice of the evaluation team and commence negotiations of the terms of a consultant services agreement, including the fee for the services to be provided. If an agreement cannot be negotiated with the first choice consultant within the budgetary limits established for the project, the second choice of the evaluation team shall be contacted and the first choice dismissed from further consideration on that particular project. Firms which have submitted proposals but were not among the final candidates should be notified in writing. The evaluation team members must sign an affidavit of confidentiality. 4.1.9, award. The department head shall forward the qualifying proposals or qualifications and the evaluation team's award recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. 4.1.10, notification of award. All consultants participating in the negotiation process shall be notified in writing of the successful award. Proposals submitted by competing consultants shall not be disclosed to the public or to competitors unless such disclosure is otherwise required by law. 4.2, minor professional services assignments under $50,000. 4.2.1, general. Consultants for minor professional services assignments shall be selected and retained utilizing the informal procedures specified in this section. 4.2.2, request for quotes. The department heads shall solicit quotes from at least 3 firms when the anticipated cost of services for a given assignment is over $5,000 and up to $50,000. The quote shall be written and shall include a statement of the project work scope and the services to be provided. 4.2.3, evaluation and negotiation. The department head shall review and evaluate all quotes and, if necessary, schedule oral interviews. The department head shall contact the first choice consultant and negotiate the terms of a consultant services agreement, including the fee for the services to be provided. If an agreement cannot be negotiated with the first choice consultant within the budgetary limits established for the project, the second choice shall be contacted and the first choice dismissed from further consideration on that particular project. 4.2.4, award. In the case of department heads who are not elected or appointed officials, the department head shall forward the award recommendation to the county administrator/manager, who shall forward the recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for the formal award and approval of the proposed contract. 4.2.5, notification of award. All consultants participating in the negotiation process shall be notified in writing of the final award. Quotes submitted by competing consultants shall not be disclosed to the public to competitors. The end.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Deputy Clerk. Board of Commissioners, you have heard the procurement, this new procurement policy. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Commissioner Guider?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I'm going to address legal. I assume that you have read all of these changes and that you agree that they, all the changes are legal according to the procurement requirements by state law and our charter?
What Jennifer just read, we had a hand in working with Dawn Evers in the procurement office and McGill because of their certain DOT-specific requirements. So the words that we needed to edit, they've accepted our edits and all this. And I think McGill has blessed them, and I believe Dawn has blessed them. So yeah, we're fine with this as it's written right now. I guess the effective date is January 1, so I would defer to Michael about how the implementation goes. But I think it's, with all the words that were read, I think it's legitimate, legal. I understand the purpose. I think it remains to be seen how it's evaluated over time through its use.
Okay, thank you very much. I yield back.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to weigh in, Attorney Coleman? Again. Okay. Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'll be brief. Again, back to the Legislative Reform Act of 2021, which this is a component. I've got on this one a lot of credit as given to Madam Trinia Carthen from the 3rd District. This is the second major piece of legislation that she's brought forth. The first one being in her first year in office, and she authored procurement regarding disadvantaged business enterprises, about equity, about inclusion, about selection, right? She was chair of a procurement committee at that time, and again, this is her second piece of legislation that she's brought forth, and I do want to give acknowledgement to Don Evers, who did really weigh in and put in a lot of the work, the tactical, but Madam Carthen, well done on this. Again, it was thorough, well-shaped, and again, I appreciate the board's consideration. I yield, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote and the motion carries. Board of Commissioners, we're going to move on to tab number 13. Tab number 13 is approval of a new county public safety compensation policy. Do we have a motion to untable? Do we have a?
Madam Chair,
Question,
I'd make a recommendation to untable but retable until the very next meeting, the 29th and 30th. Again, this has a fiscal impact that will get addressed tomorrow during a retreat. If so, be the will of the board. So
Okay.
we'll untable it to retable it to the 29th and 30th.
So we're going to untable first, then retable?
Yep.
Okay,
Untable first.
Okay,
and we'll
yes.
Retable it to the
gotcha,
29th.
gotcha, okay. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to untable?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor to untable, please raise your right hand. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote to untable. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to retable?
Until the 29th and 30th.
To the 29th and the 30th meeting that's coming up soon, November 29th and 30th. So we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second to retable, please. If you're in favor, please raise your right hand to Okay, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote and the motion carries. Thank you, Board of Commissioners, for your commitment to retable, or your consensus to retable. Board of Commissioners, that leads us right into our consent agenda. All items are subject to final legal review. I'll start with tab number 15. Tab number 14 has been tabled. Tab number 15 is approval of the TEFRA report for Housing Authority of Douglas County. Tab number 16 is authorization for Keep Douglas County Beautiful to accept $1,425 donation from the Georgia Power and amend the budget. Tab number 17 is approval of the Georgia e-filing agreement amendment with Tyler Technologies and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 18 is approval of new research contract amendments with Tyler Technologies and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 19 is authorization to approve an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Douglasville for reimbursement to the county in the amount of $3,480 in costs to be incurred for signal timing monitoring during the 2021 holiday season in the vicinity of the Arbor Place Mall for intersections under city jurisdiction, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 20 is authorization for the County Finance Department to process holiday bonus payments in the amount of $200 for full-time employees and $100 for part-time employees in the total amount of $195,800 as recommended by the BOC to be funded through the department's current year's budget. Board of Commissioners, that concludes our consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, Board. Any item of discussion? Any topic? Okay? No discussion?
Yes,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Carthen?
If we could
Be-
have Attorney Fowler to come and speak to item number 15, approval of the TEFRA report for Housing Authority of Douglas County.
Okay.
Evening, everyone. Joe Fowler, Post Office Box 49, Douglasville.
Thank you.
The TEFRA approval is a requirement by the Tax Equity Fiscal Responsibility Act from decades ago, which requires that any financing for a public housing project of this nature, and in this case, it's a $13 million bond issue that applies for the construction of a 96-unit apartment complex for seniors on Stewart Parkway at the intersection of Douglas Boulevard. That's being financed through a funding that will come through Wells Fargo. It will be paid by the rent. It'll be repaid by the rentals of those who are residing in the apartment complexes. It does not affect in any way the county's obligations nor those of the Housing Authority. That's it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good to see you
All
all.
right.
I just didn't want you to come out here for nothing.
It's lovely being here. I'm being delayed from choir practice.
Oh, choir practice, okay. All right, Board, we have a motion and a second on the floor. If there's no discussion, please prepare to cast your votes for the consent agenda.
Chairman, I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm going to recast that vote.
Okay. Okay, Board of Commissioners, we need to recast our votes, so please recast accordingly. Oh, okay, good. Okay. Board of Commissioners, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries to approve the consent agenda. Thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, that leads us into the approval of our expenses. Board of Commissioners, you've had an opportunity to review our expenses. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Board, any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. Board of Commissioners, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries to approve our expenses. Board of Commissioners, we are now moving into our announcements. Certainly wanted to yield to you, the board, this body, too, if you had any announcements that you would like to make at this time, and if not, I'll yield to our Communications Director, Rick Martin.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Carthen,
Thank
District
you.
3, you have the floor.
I'm excited to welcome the public and elected officials in neighboring counties and cities to come on Friday, that's what, November, help me out, y'all. 19th. November 19th, to a wet down, wipe down ceremony where we will welcome in the new fire engine for Station 5 on Chapel Hill Road. It is exciting that the station is getting a new fire truck. And so the ceremony will begin at Chapel Hill Middle School right on Chapel Hill Road. And then we will commence with the wet down and then a push back into the bay at the Chapel Hill station. So it will start at 1:30. And I invite everybody to come out. This is a momentous occasion, a fun occasion, and this is one of those items that, of course, the penny has helped us to bring into the county. The pennies from the SPLOST helped to fund this fire engine, and this will be the first fire engine, but of course not the last, as each district will receive a fire engine. It just happens to be that District 3 gets theirs first. So I hope to see everybody this Friday, along with Chief Joe Levette at Chapel Hill Middle School for the wet down, wipe down ceremony. Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Carthen. Any other announcements, board?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just an FYI, I'm having my fall town hall. It's going to be virtual coming up here soon. Obviously, it's that time of year where we talk about the budget, get your input for what we should sponsor. It has been our tradition for 12 years here now. It's important. It's important. You know, our job as district commissioners is to advocate your interests, which we're good at. And so obviously, appropriation is the #1 thing that the board is responsible for doing. We set the budget. It's that time of year again. I look forward to the revealing of the budget. I guess we're going to talk about it tomorrow during our 2.0 of our budget retreat. But the public hearing will be on the 29th and 30th. So I'll make sure I get to citizens in District 2 to make sure that we're still on task, right? Want to make sure that we're accountable for the money. And we believe in transparency and accuracy and comprehension. Well, we've done well by the financials. I look forward to sharing with you what I think is we're on solid footing. We had to make some very hard decisions, which I'll take responsibility for. I get it, but we all went through a lot the past year. But we came through that, and we're on the other side of that. So now that we've gotten through, or we're still getting through sort of the life part, as Madam Chair would drive us through and lead us through as it relates to the pandemic, there's also the economic side that we're coming right behind that. So again, Town Hall for District 2, I'll be announcing it through Facebook you'll see the announcement soon. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair. Any other comments, boards, or announcements? Okay, with no further ado, Communications Director Rick Martin, would you please render our announcements?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners, County Administrator, and staff. Remaining announcements that we have: the Douglas County Courthouse and other government buildings, with the exception of public safety, will be closed for Thanksgiving on Thursday, November 25th and Friday, November 26th. The Douglas County Tax Commissioner's Office will be closing early on Wednesday, November 24th at 3 p.m. The office will be closed, as well as the other county buildings, on Thursday, the 25th of November and Friday, November 26th. Douglas County Tax Commissioner's Office will resume regular business hours on Monday, November 29th. Free COVID-19 testing is being offered at the Ehrlich Park Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. For more information, you can visit douglasvillecovid.com. For more COVID information, the public's invited to call the COVID-19 call center at 1-833-974-3366. That's 1-833-974-3366. That concludes this evening's announcements. I yield back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you so much, Director of Communications Rick Martin. Thank you so much for rendering our announcements tonight. I had a brain freeze for a second. Board of Commissioners, I want to close by saying to our citizens that tough times never last, but tough people do. And certainly would like to commend our citizens for the last 20 months of just resilience during this pandemic. It has been something that's unexplainable, but it will go down in the history books, and it will be a privilege for our names to be listed among those who were able to weather this marathon. I would like to say an ultra marathon at this point. Certainly I ask our citizens, as you prepare for Thanksgiving, to just be cognizant that the virus is still present. It is beginning. Our numbers are looking real good, and we want those numbers to continue to decline. But just want you to be mindful of the 3 W's, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I promise you that I will just keep crying and out loud until this virus subsides. Please wash your hands repeatedly throughout the day. Wear a mask when you're in a crowded, confined area, and please watch your social distancing. I want to wish all our citizens, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, a happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy your turkey, and just enjoy yourself and relax, because we have all been through something that we will talk about, not now, because we're too resilient to even think about it. So, Board of Commissioners, if there's nothing else to come before this body tonight, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.